Yeah. Well, you brought together an incredible summit. And Ryan, you brought in some great people, Charlie Kirk and some people like that connected. You know, young people don't necessarily understand the threat China is because they didn't grow up during the Cold War. They don't know what a Cold War looks like. But you brought in some brilliant thinkers from that generation. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, part of what you're seeing is obviously economic warfare, information warfare, but you're also seeing the long march through our institutions. You think about family, when you think about education and what's happening here, and there are many people within the left, technocratic and the like, that envy what China and the CCP are able to do in terms of how they're the scourge of their
repressing
own
their people.
That's
and controlling
exactly right. And they want to basically usher in a whole new normal and a cultural hegemony. So when we had Charlie in, one of the things we talked about was cultural Marxism on college campuses. And so for them, it's not necessarily an economic argument so much as it is a cultural one.
Right.
So they're trying to take that back, and they're doing it through organizations like Antifa and Black Lives Matter and all those young radicals, right? But it's for the older generation, they know of Alinsky, they know of Rules for Radicals, they know of all this stuff. For the younger generation, I think it's becoming apparent now how this conditioning is taking place.
Yeah.
So.
And they're waking up to it. You know, there's a story. A friend of mine who was in Beijing, he said, "What's the difference? I worked in New York, now I work in Beijing." He said, "I go to work, I do my job, I get paid, I go out for drinks and dinner with my friends. It's a cosmopolitan area, it's all the same, right? Until one day when he crosses the street, in the middle of the street, like you do in New York or DC or any major city, you just cross, there's no traffic coming, crosses the street and his phone goes bing, and he looks at his phone and it's like, there's a picture of him jaywalking. And then there's a statement that you've broken the law and that you're going to pay a fine, and it's automatically deducted from your savings account. It's like, wait, what? This is not the same, and yet they want to bring that here. That's that you talked about it. The Belt and Road Initiative is going to bring that ability to control social credit scores, control the people.
Right.
So, but you put on a summit in the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah.
That was tough. I mean, social distancing and all that.
Don't tell the people who believe the pandemic, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations for doing it, because it was huge. And how many people do you think were watching it?
Well, estimated between America's Voice Network, Sinclair Broadcasting,
Economic War Room,
on
Blaze, yep.
and the Blaze, all told, a little over 2 million
wow.
viewed us.
That's fantastic.